Welcome again to DIY-Investors.ai. And this morning I'm going to update you on where I am with using Perplexity Spaces, because it's now become my go-to tool to help me with my research as a DIY investor. And I'd like to share with you some of the reasons why, focusing just on this Spaces feature for this video. There are lots of aspects to Perplexity, but this one I think is one of the most useful. It's a very comprehensive tool, and I think the ability to access different language models is one of its key benefits. Recently, we had the integration of DeepSeek R1 within Perplexity, but hosted in both US and European servers, so that it's clear of any censorship issues. One of the main reasons I think you need to be aware of Perplexity Spaces is because of how it can benefit our productivity. Put it very simply, you can get more done in whatever time you've got available. If you're a part-time DIY investor, perhaps with lots of work commitments, family commitments, you've got limited time, and anything that can improve your productivity has got to be worthwhile. Perplexity Spaces fits that bill. One of the things that led me to look in detail at Perplexity was the fact that the results from Google are very much determined by SEO, but also by ads. And the thing about Perplexity is that certainly at the moment, it's ad-free. So I describe Perplexity to some people as being an answer machine rather than a search engine. And that's perhaps a good way of looking at it. The aspect of Perplexity that is slightly different is that you can bring in the web search from the internet and link it to your own data. So if you have already researched a company, you can load that into a Perplexity Space, add onto it the results of web searches, and get a very comprehensive answer by basically having Perplexity use both. I've taken to using DeepSeek R1 quite extensively. I like the fact that you can watch the reasoning unfold in front of you, and that gives you some comfort that it's following a process that you can relate to. And secondly, the fact that you can check the citations, you can check the resources that have been used. If you can do that very quickly with Perplexity, which is another feature which I like. The other thing which perhaps is not well understood is that you can use Perplexity to automate complex tasks. And you can do this in a variety of ways. It's beyond the scope of what I'm going to cover today. But of course, Perplexity does have an API that means you can then link it in to automation models, the likes of make.com and so on. So lots of different angles that Perplexity has that are beneficial to us as DIY investors. Now, Perplexity Spaces can act as a knowledge hub as well. And you can train the AI by uploading sources. So within a space, think of a space as being perhaps a researcher. I've actually called one of my researchers Cedric, and Cedric is a trained space within Perplexity. He is briefed with various information by uploading files and formats so that I can get him to produce a report in a certain way, and he'll sign it off with a caveat and a time and a date. You just load it with the information and it performs tasks that you've set. That means you can customize it. So if you want to customize a space for analysis of, say, company results, then you can do that. Another aspect you might want to program it is to understand technical analysis. So if you're linking technical analysis and fundamental analysis, then the trained Perplexity Space, this agent, will do all that for you. This enhancement of the data that you load with the web search, I think, adds this powerful dimension. But equally, you can exclude that. You can turn it off. So you can just analyze the information I've given you and nothing more. And that too can be quite powerful, because what you're trying to avoid is any hallucination. And that's why I think the ability to check the resources used through the citations is very important. If you were researching a sector, you can put information in from the research that you've done, or perhaps is already on your PC. You can load it in. You can bring it in by way of PDFs, for example, and you can even use other tools if you want to do that. By which I mean you could aggregate information into one PDF. That would only be one of your 5 PDF files loaded. Now, the AI-driven search is very powerful. The AI will search your own material and create information that is used in the analysis alongside the web results. Notebook LM is also useful, as you can use it to get around the limitations of file import, for example. If you're using a free version, there are distinctions between the capacity of the free version compared to the paid version. It's very well worth the $20 a month that you pay. It enables you to access several different LLMs, including DeepSeek and including Sonar, which is Perplexity's own versions. You can leave it on automatic so that it will use the appropriate LLM. You'll no doubt have heard of Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG as it's often called. This is very much at the basis of Perplexity's ability to generate AI text with factual accuracy. Having the citations is really powerful for any research, but in particular for us as DIY investors, where we're going to be making financial decisions based on information that we've got. Now, the retrieval of information from uploaded files, as well as the web, has this user control element, which means you can fine tune it to make sure that you are excluding items on the web that are not relevant. The contextually relevant responses backed by evidence citations, I think, is powerful. It means that you can have confidence in the information that you're then going to rely on as an investor. You can also put in custom instructions. I mentioned my space, I've given it the name of Cedric as my assistant, and you can put custom instructions in with specific goals for the search and custom content. So I can load content in perhaps to analyze a sector or a particular company. And this process automation I've mentioned can be very much in line with your specific goals. And I use the abilities of Perplexity to speed up what I do. For example, in the UK, we can get an announcement at 7 o'clock in the morning, an hour before the stock market's open. And then within that hour, I used Cedric, my trained space on Perplexity, to analyze a comprehensive amount of data. If it was a set of company results, it could be 50, 60. In the case of large FTSE 100 companies, much more information to digest. I wouldn't even be able to read it in an hour, never mind digest it and then compare it with forecasts and expectations, which you can do by uploading the information into the space. It's so powerful. Means that you're well prepared before the markets open at 8 o'clock, but you've analysed it, you've made that decision based on very much real information. So why have I got this picture here saying what's the best gold miner to own and why? Well, I thought this might be a useful example to just show you the power of Perplexity Spaces. So I'm going to switch screens now briefly and show you Cedric responding to this exact query, and you'll see then just how powerful Perplexity Spaces really is for DIY investing. So let's go over and have a look at Cedric. So we've come over to Perplexity, and this is Perplexity Spaces. You'll see that I've got my space titled up Cedric's Research for Portico Plaza. That's one of the groups on DIY-Investors.com. It's a space where I can do research. Here I can drop in this particular query that I put on the presentation. So what is the best gold miner to own and why? Now I could leave the LLM as automatic, or perhaps I want to see reasoning with either DeepSeek R1 or perhaps with O3 Mini. I can do a pro search. I think for this example, I will choose reasoning with R1 because it's quite useful to see the reasoning. And I could here set sources. So here I've got the web search. I don't want it academic and I don't want social, but I do want anything that's loaded into this space. And on the right-hand side in the instructions, you'll see that I've got Cedric briefed as being an expert in fundamental analysis and technical analysis of stocks, and it responds in a factual, clear and detailed way. He's also got other aspects to his report, which you'll see in a second. So what is the best gold miner to own and why? It's very topical. Here we are in February 2025. Let's set Cedric loose, shall we, and see what happens. And you can see the reasoning comes up in front of you, and the sources are also flashed up there as well as we go through. And he starts the analysis and he says, okay, you need to figure out best gold miner right now and why. So he looks at current gold market trends, spot price, list of top gold mining companies by production in 2023. And of course, this is where you've got the opportunity to upload more recent information as well. It will come out to an answer. Here we go. You can see the answer appearing in front of us. Cedric suggesting Newmont Corporation, and it then says why it stands out, largest global producer. It leads with 172.3 tons of production in 2023. For brevity, I haven't uploaded the recent production reports and so on. I've actually done that separately for DIY investors, which the members will be aware of. And then it comes to Agnico Eagle Mines, AEM, these are American companies, Harmony Gold, and then it gives comparative analysis for those three. That's a useful thing to have presented. You can see the power of the trained space, that it knows the sort of thing I'm interested in. It's giving me P ratios, debt to equity. It's giving me a 30-day return, and that's in terms of the stock price. It gives me what the 2023 production figures are. Now, I'll try in a moment, see if we can get updated production. It gives us a conclusion. It says Newmont is the best long-term pick due to its unmatched scale. Bearing in mind the gold price appreciation in the last few months, who could argue with that? And you can see that I've got it signed off with Cedric. It gives a caveat of do your own research, Mick's research assistant, and it gives us the date. It says 10:39 GMT. 12th of February 2025. So we can then look at different questions that it suggests, or we can put in one of our own. So let's do two things. I'm going to go with dividends and ask which gold miner's got the best dividend history. That's an interesting question to ask because, of course, it's one of the ways that you'll be able to benefit from owning a gold stock is if their dividends increase as their profits increase. And it's looking to identify that, and you can still see that it's using DeepSeek R1, and then it's going to come down to some sort of conclusion, hopefully in a moment. You can see what the 13 steps up there. If I open that up, you can actually see what those were. So that means you can follow the logic, you can follow the reasoning, particularly powerful aspect. And then if we just wrap those back up and look at the results, it's suggesting sustainable yields and growth potential. It's suggesting Franco-Nevada Corporation and why it stands out. Barrick Gold, 2.32%. Newmont Corporation, 2.23%. You may recall that the merger last year has created the world's largest gold miner. And again, here it gives you the comparison table. That's one aspect. And of course, you need to follow this through and do a bit more research. Let's just ask, please update Newmont Mining with recent announcements from the company. Let's just keep it fairly simple. I'm not going to get too specific. I want to see what the capabilities of Perplexity Spaces can come up with a fairly general comment. I could ask it to look at specific dates with information that perhaps I already know about for Newmont. And here, looking for announcements, you can see it's got 5 steps here. Gathered information about its beginning analysis. So what's the outcome of that? It's got an upcoming Q4 earnings report on February the 20th. That's 8 days away. And analysts are expecting adjusted earnings per share of $1.09. And strong cash flow from record gold prices may support a dividend increase, although balancing buybacks is critical. Guidance for flattish 2025 output compared to 2024, 172.3 tons. Got an $8 billion non-core asset sale, so that's going to reduce any debt. It updates you on what's happened. Operational challenges. You got 2 fatalities in an Argentine mine in February 2025. That's obviously going to cause a little bit of a hiccup. And they've got first class action lawsuits. So here you've got both the potential negative and positive aspects mentioned. And it says the stock fell 14.7% post Q3 results. So that could be a buying opportunity. And they're looking to leverage record gold prices and debt reduction. And there we go. You can get bang up-to-date information just by asking fairly general questions. For DIY investors, it can be used for portfolio management, tracking and optimizing your portfolio. And then the investment research, you can use it all day, every day. It gives you the breadth of coverage and can help you discover new investment opportunities. And in terms of financial analysis, you can analyze reports very quickly, and particularly when you can get to the information between when it's released, and means you're well placed to take the appropriate action if you're looking to buy or sell an investment. Is it the future for DIY investors? I think it is, because the fact that we can personalize it, tailor it to our own needs and our own goals is absolutely vital. Now, you can do some of this with other systems. But for me, Perplexity has the ability to bring in different language models, personalization of it, the training of each space, so each space can have a different function. It's very powerful. Speeding up of routine tasks and complex tasks is particularly beneficial. Integration with other tools and giving these actionable insights from AI-powered analysis, again, very worthwhile. So in terms of key takeaways, I think it's transformative for DIY investors to have trained assistants looking at different areas. You can have spaces that leverage the power of AI, including analysis of files that you upload and bringing in the context of web searches and current news. So rather than being trained on information to a particular date, you can be bang up to date with today's news. It'll pull that in from the web. Routine tasks being speeded up makes you more efficient. It goes way beyond the traditional search of a Google search engine or any other search engine come to that. So it's a new way of working, enabling you to engage with the different large language models that there are available. Give it a try. At the very least, give the free version a go. You may, like me, think that the paid version is worthwhile, and I'm very happy to recommend it. This has not been sponsored by Perplexity. Perhaps it should be. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you stay to the end, you're a star, and please subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.